Hi everyone. So for those lovely ladies out there who have struggled with birth control since they started, this is for you. More specifically, anybody who has an IUD inserted into their uterus. A lot of people really swear by them, and I think they're a great birth control method for some people. Personally, I have not done well with anything implanted. I had the implant on in my arm, and I became a raging psychopath, and now I cry at puppy dog commercials all the time, and that's like a lasting side effect, I think, from having the implant in my arm. But about 3 years ago, I let my GYN talk me into getting an IUD, Skyla. It's made specifically for women who have not given birth before, so it's made for the virgin cervix, as she says. And even though she swears by it, I absolutely hated it. Hated it. I got terrible cramps. I gained weight. I was constantly feeling like my uterus was doing a Japanese suicide out of honor for not conceiving a child that month. So, yeah, it wasn't great. So I looked into getting it removed, and apparently my insurance company paid for me to put it in. They weren't willing to pay to take it out. And for those of us that live in the United States with our continued healthcare issues, they would know that for IUD removal without insurance, it is usually $200 to $300, which is kind of crazy. So I started looking online about IUD removal and seeing what was involved, and I came across a lot of people in Canada and in Europe who removed their own IUDs, and even doctors in the US who have made it an option for the patient to do self-IUD removal. Absolutely terrifying to think about, but I decided to give it a go because for the last year I've had a boyfriend who is blessed, and it really hurts when he hits it, or if it gets stuck on a tampon or anything like that. So without further ado, I'm going to explain to you how I took out my IUD. Now, I am not a doctor, and I am not trying to give you medical advice. This is a perform at your own risk, like wrestling. So first and foremost, let's take a look at what it looks like. So this is the IUD. Looks like a little T-shape. They're all pretty much the same, and you can get an idea for size. But little T-shaped looking thing here with the strings hanging from it. So just a forethought, if you pull out your IUD on your own and you see any of this is missing, it most likely broke, which is very, very rare according to all the videos and information I looked up on the studies on IUDs. But if one of these little T-sticks is missing, it should always look like a T. You need to go to the doctor ASAP because it means it broke and you can get an infection. Also, this should be really easy to pull out. It should slip out with virtually no pain. At least there was no pain for me, and there was no pain for the dozens of women who did this on their own. So I think it's best to do it while you're either menstruating, because your cervix opens up a little bit, your uterus kind of opens up a little bit. And then also I suggest masturbating or having sex if you can't get a period, because a lot of times girls can't get their periods with this. Have sex or masturbate to open up that uterus even wider. And then I simply, after doing that, I squatted down and I put my fingers into my vagina. And some of you might not be able to put your thumb in your forefinger, so you could also do it with your finger and your middle finger. But I felt around for this, which you should be doing on a monthly basis when you have this anyway. And I made sure the strings were straight down. I was able to grip it as my strings were pretty long. And I was able to grip it, and it slipped out with no time. I didn't even feel it. It's more uncomfortable to take a tampon out. And that was it. And it was done. It was over with. Now, I just did this, so I will see if my body has any effects from it later, such as a heavier flow or even getting my period again in a couple days. We'll see what happens. But that was it. I felt absolutely no pullback whatsoever. Now, if you go to pull on it and it gives you any kind of resistance, I would stop. And if you need to have it removed, go to a doctor. But it gave me 0 resistance, 0 pain, came right out. And I just grabbed it here and pulled right out. And these little suckers came up like that, and that was it. So again, I'm not a doctor. I am not giving you any medical advice, but that is how I pulled mine out. So again, make sure you feel for the strings, and you can either grab it with your thumb and your index finger, or if you have a hard time, you can grab it like this between your middle finger and your index finger and just pull on out. All right, well, good luck with your IUD, and hopefully you have better luck with birth control than I do.